Hi, I'm Jackie Reamer and this is JR Elevates. Today I'm going to dedicate the segment, the recipe today, to my mom, who would invite me over for dinner, and when I would ask her what she's making, she would tell me MUSTGOES. Of course, everyone questions, what is MUSTGOES? And it was whatever was in the refrigerator that must go. So today, that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna first tell you about the book I wrote for my mom. This is the book. And you can read it if you want to, but just so you know, that's who this recipe is dedicated to. The things we have left over are from things we made earlier this week. I've got some onion, I've got some basil, I've got some spinach, I've got eggs, I've got leftover mozzarella that looks like little marshmallows, and I have some cooked zucchini already, and I have some Parmesan cheese. And eggs. And we'll add a little bit of oat milk to that, and I'll show you soon. Okay, so we're going to turn on this back burner here, and we're going to spray a little avocado oil. I got this. Oh, look what I did. I did it again. I always do it. No, I didn't turn on the front one. Never mind. Anyway, we're going to spray some avocado oil in here. And then we're going to go ahead and toss these onions in. We're going to saute these up. Once we get these sauteed, we're going to add this spinach here. So now we've got our onions sauteing, and we're going to go ahead and add this spinach. It was left over. I just cut it into smaller pieces because the less work I have to do eating something, I prefer it that way. I'm not sure why. So we're going to get that going. I'm going to go ahead and toss a little bit of salt on here to flavor it. Not much, maybe a quarter teaspoon or so. I don't like to over salt. You can always add salt later. And the Parmesan cheese we're going to be adding is also a salty cheese. So we want to make sure we don't get too much salty stuff in there. Okay, so now that we have our onions and our spinach sauteed, so they're nice and cooked, we're going to go ahead and try to layer these other things. What pan do you think we should use? I mean, I have a muffin pan, so we could have little muffin quiches. I have a pie pan to do the classic quiche in a pie pan. I have a square pan, pretty blue, and we could do it like that. So what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? I'm feeling your energy. What is your energy saying? You like the blue, but you want the muffins. Gotcha. I heard ya. I heard ya. So let's do the muffins. First thing we're going to do is make some space. I am going to spray the inside of this pan, which I like to do actually over the sink, which sounds silly, but at least I can wash it up later on and I don't have it all over the floor and stuff. So I don't do a crust quiche, so it's a crustless quiche. That was clever, wasn't it? Glad you're following me. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put some of this vegetables, right, the spinach and onion. I'm going to layer it right in the bottom there. Fill these little cups. Aren't they beautiful? I'll tell you what, we'll make 3 and then I'll make the other 3 when you're not looking, so then I don't bore you to tears. Although I know I don't bore you to tears, because you'd have to be a boring person to be bored to tears. So let's put on top of that, let's put some Parmesan. Because we want to do layers that hold things together, right? So we're going to do some vegetables, some cheese, some more vegetables, and then some more cheese, because we still have that mozzarella. So we have the spinach and onion and the Parmesan. And now, I had made this the other day. This is just leftover zucchini and mushrooms. And maybe onion, I'm not sure if I put it in there. But I'm just gonna layer, the zucchini in there. You know me, I'm very fancy. So It smells delicious, even though only part of this is cooked right now. I hope everyone washes their hands before they cook. I wash mine till they're dried out, and then I have to add some oil to them. So let's just throw some mozzarella in here. I love it already. So now that we've got that done, I did have some leftover fresh basil. I'm just gonna throw a little bits in there to, I don't know, to flavor it up a little bit. I think it would work nicely. It could probably work nicely fresh too once you're done. But let's get this egg mixture. So basically, we just want to put some eggs in here. It's always a thrill to figure out which side of the plastic container opens. I'm just popping these babies in here. I'm going to put about 6 eggs, maybe 8, because I want to have enough for each of these cups, and these cups are pretty big. These aren't your average muffins. So I've got 3, 4. I could do a relay of egg things. They should get chefs together. Here I got 5, 6, and I popped a shell in there. And I got it. Yay, victory. So I've got 3, 4, 5, 6. And now I'm gonna add some milk. I have oat milk. I like to use oat milk because it's thick and creamy, and I like it thick and creamy. And a lot of those other milks are kind of thin, if you know what I mean, and a little bit watery. So now we're gonna whisk this up, right? So I'm not a big time waster. I kind of like to just get things done. I could add some pepper or salt or something in here. I'm pretty basic. I like to add my flavors after the fact. And we've got some salt in it already from the onions and the spinach. And we also have some salt from the Parmesan. So I'm going to fill the cups like this and let it sink in there. It's got to sink into all the layers that we just created. And then shake it a little bit, and you might even want to get like a spoon or something. You just want to wiggle it around so the egg mixture can get into the bottom, because that's what's going to form your muffin for you on the other side once you take it out. Once I get these done, I'm going to put them into the oven at 375 degrees for about 15 minutes. Just till they firm up, maybe 10 to 15, keep an eye on them, and then I'm going to reduce the heat and finish cooking them. So we'll get right back to you. Okay, so I'm halfway done making the quiches for the humans, but I forgot I really kind of have to make it for me, Grandma, I want it. Okay, Tavi, Octavia wants a quiche too. She can't have all the stuff that we've made with the onions and all whatever that stuff is going on there that's for humans. So we're just going to make a cheese one for her. We're going to go ahead and throw some Parmesan cheese. I've already greased this little pan. Dogs can't have too much cheese, but they can have a little bit. So we're going to give her that little bit. We are going to fill it with some egg mixture, just like we did, because we didn't add any spices or anything, so it's perfectly fine for her. Mix it up a little bit, and I'll toss that in when I toss in the human quiche. So now that we have our mother pupper quiche for the doggy, and we have the must-go quiche for the humans, I'm going to go ahead and pop this in the oven. I have it set at 375. Watch out, Tops. Watch out. And I don't want to spill it. I have it on a pan in case it spills or goes over. I would suggest always cooking something on a pan. So we're going to throw that in there. I've got it for 375. I am going to set this timer for 10 minutes. I don't know if you can see it. If you can't, I said 10 minutes. And I'm going to check on it after that. And I'm going to let you see what it looks like after 10 minutes. Hopefully it'll be solid. We'll either need to cook it a little bit more, or they'll be ready to go. In the meantime, I am going to enjoy a little bit of my lemon ginger honey drink that I made the other day. I made it hot, Now it's cold. I have a whole pot of it in the refrigerator. Make some this hot weather. It hydrates you and it's delicious. All right, so the time is up. If I can figure out how to turn this off. And they need some more time. I'm gonna, whoa, see how it's moving around like that? We need that to solidify. So I'm gonna give it another 10 minutes. Okay, so the timer is gonna go off, and so we're gonna clear it, or whatever we're doing here. Hang on. So if you're gonna look here, you will see that, making a little bit of a mess, but I wanna say that the puppy one is done. So I kinda wanna see how it's not making any much movement there. So we're gonna put that here to cool for the puppy. Look at her, she got like a little mousse thing. And then we're going to reduce the heat on the oven to 350, and I'm gonna say maybe 15 or 20 more minutes. Okay, so the dogs look so good, I think I'm gonna eat it myself. No, I'm kidding, I wouldn't do that to her. Plus mine's coming. Anyway, hers looks good, it's cooling off. This is way too much for a 8 to 10 pound dog, which she is. She's kind of tiny. So I'm gonna cut it into fourths, which she's not happy about. I want it all. I know you do. So, but she'll have breakfast throughout the rest of the week. And we'll let this cool for her, and then she'll be able to eat it. Ours are still cooking, and she's jumping on my leg telling me it's hers, and we already know. So then the rest of this will go into the refrigerator, and she'll get a quarter of it each day for the next several days. Okay, I turned the timer off. I had them in for about 12 minutes. I see them bubbling with the cheese, so I just want to check them and make sure. I mean, I see some are still runny here, and I'm not really a fan of that. But I think if we move this away, we'll find that they're probably cooked inside. That's still edible too, you know. Let's check one. Let me close this oven and see what we got. Probably don't fill them as high. I think I filled them a little too high. It's probably better to let them cool. So let's let them cool for about 5 minutes. Hi everybody, and we are back. See the steam? Some wonderful breakfast here. I might have plated them a little too soon. Should have let them cool just a tiny bit more, and then they'll probably hold their shape. This is Octavia's, so I'm gonna give hers now. Good girl. Thank you. You're very welcome. And maybe I'll take a little bite. Before I do, I don't want to talk with food in my mouth. So once again, this was MUSTGOES, the things that were left over from the refrigerator that we made into a meal, and we happen to make it into mini quiches. Could make a whole quiche if you want to. Wrote this book for my mother, and my daughter's in the background, Jordan Reamer, singing Remember May in her honor. So if you have stuff left over in your refrigerator, maybe you need to have MUSTGOES for dinner or lunch or breakfast. MUSTGOES anytime. Okay, so I said I was going to take a bite, and I'm going to. If it's terrible, I'll spit it out and won't say another word. If it's good, I'll just nod and put my finger up. So then the thumb, not any other finger. That would be really bad. Okay, so I've got some cheese here. I've got some of the veg.